Oh, it's me. Okay. Again, guys,
I shouldn't put you on the spot like this.
you know, you know the topics at this point, right? Yeah. But I'm picking for you this one because I made the dealer's choice category, and that's what I'm picking from today because I came across something that I really liked and I ought to share. I don't know if this is too mainstream, but it fits into our overall
Fringiness? Okay.
Yeah, this one's filed under dealer's choice. However, I would also see it fitting under feeling like an update and feeling bad. So I'm gonna click on it here just now. And this title is from the New York Post and it is from March 5th, 2004. It is still relevant, just I'll have you know, by Shannon Thaler.
And it's an update, you say?
Yeah, you'll know why it's an update once I start talking. So this one's titled, Electric Vehicles Release More Toxic Emissions Are Worse for the Environment Than Gas-Powered Cars.
Okay. It's the New York Post. It's incredibly conservative. I take a lot of things where they're kind of counterculture at face value.
Yeah, I was trying to fit there. I had a topic in mind, and this one fit what I wanted to talk about the most.
Okay.
Let's just read it.
I am
and
interested
then
just
we can
because
talk
of when
about
the
it after.
timeline is. That's early on with electric cars.
2024?
Oh, sorry, I heard 2004.
Oh, 2024. You missed the
Okay.
20. Let's just get into it, and then maybe it's the discussion you came for today. It's a mini, though. We can't talk that much. Electric vehicles release more toxic particles into the atmosphere and are worse for the environment than their gas-powered counterparts, according to a resurfaced study. A study published by emissions data firm Emissions Analytics was released in 2022, but has attracted a wave of attention this week after being cited in the Wall Street Journal Sunday. It found that brakes and tires on EVs release 1,850 times more particle pollution compared to modern tailpipes, which have efficient exhaust filters, bringing gas-powered vehicles' emissions to new lows. Pollution comes from tire wear. As heavy cars drive on light-duty tires, most often made with synthetic rubber made from crude oil and other fillers and additives, they deteriorate and release harmful chemicals into the air, according to Emissions Analytics. Because EVs are on average 30% heavier, brakes and tires on the battery-powered cars wear out faster than on standard cars.
Right, we actually talked about this in our all the ways we didn't know we're polluting episode.
Yeah, the tire wear, right?
Yeah.
Basically, they're saying, let me continue and then we'll see. Emission Analytics found that tire wear emissions on half a metric ton of battery weight in the EV are more than 400 times as great as direct exhaust particle emissions. For reference, half of a metric ton is equivalent to roughly 1,100 pounds. Most popular EV in the US, Tesla's Model Y, boasts a lithium-ion battery that weighs in at a hefty 1,836 pounds. Another sought-after electric model, Ford's F-150 Lightning pickup truck, also has an approximately 1,800-pound battery. The study throws doubt on the practicality of the Biden administration's EV mandates, which tout electric cars as zero-emission vehicles, in a quest to force two-thirds of new cars in America to be all-electric by the year 2032. California lawmakers have similarly referred to EVs as producing zero emissions because they don't have tailpipes, per the journal, which added that the label is deceptive. Electric cars still use tires made from petroleum that create particle pollution as they wear. Still, this will not be something that stops electrification, Nick Molden, the founder and CEO of Emissions Analytics, told Post. I'm going to stop here. Basically...
And you saw in that last two sentences that my whole complaint about the New York Post. The reason they're doing that is because they found something that goes against the Democrats.
Basically, the point that I was just trying to make from this article is that electric vehicles aren't as good for the environment as we're being told they are. This one comes in the form of tires and how they burn through tires at a much faster rate than other vehicles. And we learned in our previous episode that tires are hugely...
They're polluting in ways that we don't really contemplate that well. They're terrible for fish. You got to remember, anytime it rains, every particle that's on that road is going into the rivers. I need everybody to understand me when I say this. I am against electric cars for completely different reasons than the New York Post is in here. It's night and day for the reasons that we would be. I agree. They're not great for the environment. Are they better for the environment than gas-powered vehicles, though? Kind of a little bit. My whole problem with it is that we should be moving away from automobiles as the main form of transportation.
I mean,
So,
that makes sense.
honestly, when you're looking at a lot of the things that are popping up in cities now, especially electric bikes and scooters, much better ways to go, but we should be on trains. Just gonna leave that part there. When they're talking about this, polluting the air, they're completely discounting the fact that they're not even talking about carbon dioxide or things that aren't as toxic per se as a pollutant. They're just disregarding that when they're talking about this from the New York Post point of view. Also, they said that, look, our filters are great on the tailpipes. It's a great talking point, but that's still going to end up somewhere. It's just not in the air right there. And I went on the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency in the US. They kind of have this question posted as myths about electric vehicles. Myth number one, electric vehicles are worse for the climate than gasoline cars because of power plant emissions, which is something they were kind of talking about. EVs have no tailpipe emissions. Generating the electricity used to charge EVs, however, may create carbon pollution. The amount varies widely based on how local power is generated. To the extent that more renewable energy sources like wind and solar are used to generate electricity, the total greenhouse gases associated with EVs could be even lower if we change over. That was actually a bad thing to bring up. I don't know why I brought it up. I thought there was more in there.
Apparently, the New York Post was a bad thing to bring up as well. But really, I just wanted to find an article that was talking about how many tires the Teslas are burning through when
and that's a fair point. I have used the New York Post before. It's just something that I always preface it as the New York Post. Overall, they might be saying something right, but it's not for the right reasons. That always pisses me off. So yes, I agree. There is a problem with the weight of cars. We should be moving away from cars. And that's where we fundamentally disagree.
With the New York Post.
Yeah.
Again, my message was just they're burning through tires.
Well,
much simpler than the New York Post. They just had the first article that agreed with me, kind of, as far as the simple point I wanted to make. And I think it probably has to do with the regenerative braking as well, but I don't know about that.
I couldn't tell you either. I don't know. I don't even know if they fundamentally use the same braking system. But I do technically agree with some of the things they're saying in that there are problems with pollution with electric vehicles that we didn't have to deal with before. They discount the standard issues of pollution that gasoline powered cars are emitting. They're just completely disregarded for them, that stat. Yeah. Something to keep in mind when you're looking at that, and take it with a grain of salt. So I think that's a good.
The main thing to keep in mind is that Chelsea wanted to tell you that Teslas go through more tires.
She sure did. Good work, Charles.
Remember that for 48 hours.
Okay, bye.